Hi, Lesego Golani here. I just thought that today I should share with you what I got in church. So today at Hope Restoration Ministries, Pastor Matebula was talking about making no excuses. So this is something that made me absorb every word he uttered, because basically in a certain part of our life, whichever one it may be, there is a particular excuse that we make, right? So on my side, simply, I've been making excuses pertaining to waking up early. I committed earlier this year that I would wake up much earlier before everyone else was up at home, in the house, just so that I could have a head start with, when it speaks to everyone else who's outside my home. I fail to do that every time I have to wake up. I'm tired. That's excuse number one. Number two, I can always do this later. Why do I need to wake up now? Number three, sleep feels so good. Number four, it's cold. Excuses were piling up and piling up and piling up. What about my master's studies? I pushed my master's studies over the past 2 years to a point where I could have finished in 2 years, you know, since we were given 3 years anyway, but I pushed it to three because I've been writing up for a very long time, guys. And to a very large extent, or a certain extent, it's unacceptable. Excuse after excuse is what I was doing. And I think a lot of us can relate to this particular subject, because the number one rule for not making excuses is to not make excuses. That's the first rule that Pastor Matebula shared. Don't even give yourself the opportunity to make an excuse, and that way you won't actually make the excuse. In fact, you then act upon what it is you want to do. The new year came. It came and it's going. When the new year began, I know you've heard this 1,000 times. It's cliche now, but it's so true. We set our New Year's resolutions, we set our goals, and then when it comes time to now being committed and disciplined enough to achieve those goals, we actually fail to do that. We literally fail to do that, because what we do is make excuses. So the excuses that we make then paralyze the action that we actually need to put in. So I just wanted to share that and say no more excuses from my side. I shared a video previously about my vision board and all the things that I want to achieve. But so long as I'm making excuses, the road to getting there will forever, it will take longer, guys. The road to getting there will take longer. So how do we then, from my personal experience, achieve a work ethic that doesn't include excuses, that excludes excuses? I'd say the first thing is to remain committed to your goal by reminding yourself what's the consequence of actually achieving that particular goal. With me, the consequence of me getting my master's is that I'll get more recognition in my field. There are more opportunities that will open up. The credibility of any proposal that I put in will be largely supported by the credentials that come with having a master's and being specialized in the particular field within environmental health. So those consequences should stimulate one enough to be able for me to get up in the morning, write up a chapter in just 2 days, submit onto the next chapter, and in no time, I'm talking in less than 3 months, I would be done, and submitting that for assessment and marking. So no more excuses from my side. I'm excited now about the future. I thank you, Pastor Matebula, for the beautiful sermon that you gave today. It was heartfelt, and wow, I actually forgot to touch about the excuses that I make when it comes to exercising. I love exercising, guys, and my body responds positively to exercising. I reckon anyone, who follows a good diet and exercises, their body will respond effectively. But the discipline and commitment that comes with it, guys, it's actually quite difficult. And so we, as society, as young people, we should stop making those excuses, because what's the consequence then again of making the excuse and not putting in the action? Firstly, I'll be overweight, I'll be more sluggish, I'll be less effective at work, I'll be less effective in my business, in the efforts that I put in. Hey, even my relationship will suffer. So I must literally stop making excuses when it comes to exercising. Another tip that we can follow is that let's find out what do people whom we look up to do so that they are able to fend off excuses. What are the mentors that we follow, the books that we read? What lessons can we get from there? I know as a damn fact that a lot of them, the road was hard, but they remained steadfast and committed in what they were doing. And if you're going to contribute back to society, you need to build and develop yourself first. You need to be able to achieve your goals. You need to be able to stop making excuses, so that whatever you spew out of your mouth will sit well and resonate with those that are listening to you and your audience, and you'll be more fruitful in everything that you do. So it all rests upon your shoulders to stop making excuses, to take action, to win, and to use your God-given potential. So those 4 things that I just listed were key notes that Pastor Matebula gave when he shared with us how to actually stop making excuses, because you shall be judged one day. You shall be judged on the actions that you actually make. And my co-supervisor for my masters, he actually told me when I was making excuses, he said, my guy, life will actually judge you based on whether you finished what you started. Full stop. Whether you finished what you started. So that marriage that you got into, you'll be judged on whether you stuck to your vows and actually survived your marriage till the end. I'm basically not talking about circumstances where your marriage is really not good for you, but I'm talking about the vow that you make. You really would need to fight for it despite the circumstances, and it will generally get better with time. But the key thing is that we just win at this work life relationship thing, and we win by putting in our all, not making excuses, basically waging the fight with ourselves and expecting the consequences that we generally want and expect for ourselves. But other than that, I'd say no excuses, guys. Let's get to it. We're still young, we're still energetic, and let's get to it and then reap the rewards of our non-excuses. Cheers and peace out. Boom.